We're now joined by popular demand by our good friend, Dr. Eugene Cornacchia, who is president of St. Peter's University. Good to see you, Gene.
Happy to be here.
Let's do this. The 2020 election, we'll talk significantly about higher education, the chaotic and difficult, uncertain world we're in the age of COVID. But why does this 2020 election matter so much to the nation?
Well, Steve, it's a critical election in so many different ways. We're at the precipice of tremendous change in our country and in the world, right? Economically, in terms of climate change, social upheavals. And this election is going to determine what direction the nation moves in, whether we'll continue to have the kinds of upheavals and disconnects that seem to be out there, or whether or not we'll come together and work together to really overcome the obstacles that we face as a nation.
You know, some might be asking, why is Adubato asking Dr. Cornacchia about politics? It's because he is a political scientist by his academic scholarly background. And also, Gene, if you remember, you were the first guest on a panel that we had on the future of the Democratic Party on a show called Think Tank, right? So let me ask you this. Now that we know, as we do this program at the end of the summer of 2020, that Kamala Harris is the vice presidential pick of Joe Biden, you were concerned that they potentially, as a party, were moving too far left. What do you think this means?
Well, I think the party is right there in the center.
Really?
Yeah, it's in the center. It's center, slightly left of center, but basically center. You know, the center is a pretty wide area.
Sure, but not far. We had Jeff Van Drew, who said some of the Democrats are socialist, bordering on Marxist. He didn't say that about Biden and Kamala Harris, but this is pretty middle.
This is pretty middle. And his selection of Harris really shows that he's trying to steer a center course, but also reach out to younger voters who have been disenchanted of late. And though Harris was not on the Warren or the Sanders side of the party, she nonetheless, I think, will appeal to a lot of the younger voters.
Switch gears to higher ed, and we'll do an additional segment with Dr. Cornacchia on higher ed. But I'm curious about this. There's a tuition freeze at St. Peter's right now?
Yes, there is.
Why?
To help our students and families during this tremendously difficult time that they're facing with COVID-19. So many of them have lost jobs. We've heard from them that they, in many cases, have even lost their homes. This is an incredible catastrophe. And so we did what we could do within our means.
As we do this program at the end of the summer, is it fair to say St. Peter's will have a hybrid situation in terms of learning, or is it all remote?
Well, you know, that's interesting, Steve. Fast moving.
As we speak, things are changing constantly. Go ahead.
The governor just issued a new executive order. So we have made the determination that we're going to stay all remote throughout the entire fall semester. And that was determined last week, actually, when we believed we would not be able to move into physical instruction. But in reconsidering that over the last day or so, we decided we're going to stay remote because ultimately it's the health and safety of our students, faculty, and staff that matters. I am not confident that it will be a safe environment to return in person. You're
in Jersey City. How much of the decision-making process, and again, there are some universities and colleges in a wide open rural area, that is not the case, because I've been to your campus so many times. It is an urban environment and a crowded environment. Does that play into the decision?
It does to a degree, certainly. The challenge for us is, of course, if you're going to have instruction, you need a lot of in-person instruction, you need a lot of space for social distancing. We've done all that mapping over the summer, and it just doesn't work for us, given the configuration of our buildings and facilities. So we might as well be remote and make sure everybody is safe.
Another follow-up on this. You've often said to me that higher education will be changed and changed forever. Still believe that?
Oh, yes, I still believe it. I think where we were headed in 5 or 7 years from now is happening now. The rapidity of change was thrust upon us by COVID-19. And so, movement towards more remote education, in many ways, this is a good, experiment for us all as we gear up for more remote blended learning, bigger partnerships and collaborations with other institutions and businesses. All of this was going to evolve over 5 or 7 years, and now it's going to happen this year and next year with great rapidity.
You know, it's interesting. You mentioned collaboration. Got a few seconds left. Do you believe that the intense competition among colleges and universities less so?
Oh, I know. I think there's a great deal of competition, but you know, it's healthy. I believe in competition.
It's healthy.
It is healthy. It forces us to look at things we perhaps wouldn't have looked at, but necessarily have to. So I'm all for competition.
Collaboration and competition, they are not mutually exclusive. Check that. That is coming directly from Dr. Eugene Cornacchia, who is president of St. Peter's University in beautiful Jersey City, New Jersey. Dr. Cornacchia, thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And I want to thank you for watching. He's on. You're watching. I get it right, Gene. I've only been doing it for 30 years. I'll get it right. I'm Steve Adubato, I think. I'll see you next time.
Think Tank with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation. Funding has been provided by Holy Name Medical Center, the New Jersey Education Association, Gibbons PC, Operating Engineers, Local 825, NJM Insurance Group, Wells Fargo, the Russell Berry Foundation, Johnson & Johnson, NJ Best, New Jersey's 529 College Savings Plan, and by these public-spirited organizations, individuals, and associations committed to informing New Jersey citizens about the important issues facing the Garden State, and by Employers Association of New Jersey. Promotional support provided by Insider NJ and by New Jersey Globe.
In the fabric of America, they are the toughest threads. One of the first things they learned was the code that every service member lives by: leave no one behind. Now all of us need to live by it too, because some veterans are being left behind. 20 of them take their own lives every day. Learn how to be there for a veteran at BeThereForVeterans.com. Honor the code. Be there. Leave no one behind.